Hi guys, welcome back to Handmade with Tara. I am Tara, a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful boys and a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator. So today I'm going to demonstrate for you a card tutorial on Ringed with Nature and featuring the new Friendly Gnomes from the new mini catalog that just went live in January. So this mini catalog goes all the way to April. So if you don't have a copy and would like a copy, please email me at handmadewithtara@gmail.com and I'd love to give you a copy of that. And then also, right now, it is a SALE-A-Bration, meaning that every $50 that you spend, you're going to get free items. And there are stamp sets and paper that you can choose from in this SALE-A-Bration that ends on February 28th. So you still have another month to order from this catalog here. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this tutorial here so that I can keep up with these. Keep going before these babies wake up, right? Let me show you the designs. So this is the first card that we're going to be doing. This is the second one. And this is the third one. So, and some of these are the new paper. So I brought in that spring paper, and this is a free paper, this free designer series paper with a $50 purchase. And this is a huge pack of paper that is free with a $100 purchase in the new mini catalog as well. The gnome featured is from the new mini catalog, and then the Ringed with Nature is throughout all 3 cards. So we're gonna go ahead and show you how I did it. So I like to write down all of the measurements of the cardstock, and I'm starting to write down like the color cardstock I used. Obviously you can use whatever color cardstock, it doesn't really matter. So this is basic white, and I actually cut that with that. This is Night of Navy, and I cut that with that. Here, let's do like this and this. So there's 2 pieces of basic white, 5 1/4 by 4, and these are all measurements in inches. So just so that you are aware that I used inches as my metric for these cards. I think I did it for all 3, so no confusion there. And then Night of Navy was this color that I used cardstock, and these are all Stampin' Up colors. So if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up, I do have another video that tells you what Stampin' Up is. And basically the products that I'm demonstrating, all the colors and everything is all Stampin' Up's material. So, and they're the name of the colors that they use. So Night of Navy, Soft Sea Foam, Basic White, these are all Stampin' Up colors here. So you can pause the video here if you need to write down measurements. So this is 5 1/2. If you can't really see that, I messed up a little bit, but all right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and move on. So starting with the base here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take that off, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this white piece as the insert. So I'm just gonna set these aside. I'm gonna use my Stampin' Seal, and you can always add more than what I'm doing. Obviously, you can stamp this before you insert it. I did that on one of the other cards that I worked on, but I didn't do it on this one, but you are more than welcome to. You can add whatever you want on the inside if you like. I like to leave them blank so people can write their own sentiment, because I do sell my cards, so, or gift them like as a gift to other people. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my die cut. So I already did this one. I did it originally. So this is from the Ringed with Nature embossing folder, and it's a hybrid. So I did the embossing folder and I did the die cut at the same exact time. So here are the die cuts, and I used this one. So like if you have this, this is the shape the one that I used here. And then for the white, and then for this Night of Navy piece right here, I also did this one ahead of time too. So I went ahead and I did this, and this one, I think it's, yeah, it has to be, I think it might have even been this one, like this outside ring here, right here. So I did those two, and then that way, when you put them together, they sit right together like that. Okay, so very cool technique. And then so I'm just gonna set that aside because I already cut that. And then for this one, I do need to make the cut. So this is the soft seafoam piece, and it's 2 by 5 1/2. 2 by 5 1/2. Okay, so I'm just gonna set that aside. And this one I did these green little leaves, and I also did, I'm gonna do this one, and I think I did this one as well. So I'm gonna do all of these, and I think I'm gonna do this one twice. So I'm just gonna go ahead and die cut that really fast. So I'm gonna send it through my embossing machine. So that's gonna cut out those little pieces for me. And then this one, I believe this is the one I did twice. So sometimes it gets where the cardstock gets stuck in here, and then this is my take your pick tool. You can just use these little holes and poke out the design and it'll come right out. I also, I learned a new trick. If you run your dies through with dryer sheets, somebody taught me this, so if this is wrong, like, let me know, but I ran it through on one of my really tricky dies that I had to poke a lot of holes. I had to poke a lot of stuff, and it totally worked. So dryer sheets condition the metal or something, and so it made it easily fall right out. But okay, so I did all 3 of those, and then I'm going to do this one a second time, and you can actually do another one. So like, I think I'm going to do this one a second time as well. So I think that's what I did on the first one. It's been a while since I made the first one. I design them throughout the month and try to do tutorials every single month. But sometimes it's like I do it at the very beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month I'm like, okay, what did I do again? I'm putting them together and trying to figure it out. Here, I'll just do all of them so I make sure I have the one that I need when I'm building it. All right, so let's do that again. So this is seafoam. There we go. So I had never heard that trick before, and I tried it with one of my tricky dies that has a lot, where you have to poke out a lot of holes, a lot of these little holes, and it totally works. So I don't know if that hurts the dies, I hope not, but I only did it to one so far. Usually it's just like a couple of holes and it's not a big deal, but some of the really beautiful dies, the intricate dies, have a lot more to poke out, and it takes a lot of time, especially if you're doing more than one card. All right, so I can put these back now. Actually, like that, and then I'm just gonna set that aside momentarily. Okay, and then you know what I did? Okay, so this is what I did on this last sheet. Obviously, we're going to be stamping this and these, and so this is the last 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm just going to set that aside. And then let me show you a little trick that I did. What I did was I grabbed the small die, the Rings with Nature small die. I kind of put it in the middle of my paper here. And then what I did was I got all of the stamp colors that I wanted to use. So let me show you what I used here. So these are the stamp colors that I'm using. Pale Papaya, Poppy Parade, Night of Navy, and Shaded Spruce are the colors that I used on this card. Okay, so what I did was I start with the lightest color. So that's my Pale Papaya. And then I used this really beautiful branch. So let me show you which one it is on here. So it's this one right here. Oh, I got a little tickle. This one right here. And then what I did was I just stamped it down like this on my ink. I needed a little drink. And my coffee. And then I used the ring and went around. Of course, I'm gonna, and then I went like this. So take your time and make sure you push it down all the way. I love Pale Papaya. It's such a pretty color. It's very soft and sorry. So I just kind of evenly spaced it all the way around the little die. I'm going to clean this off now. Get some water. I'm actually going to leave that because I might need it again. Get some water, guys. All right. So then I believe that I took the Shaded Spruce. So let me set that aside. I gotta get my Shaded Spruce. Of course, I just stuck my finger in there. And this branch. So this little guy right here. And then I did the exact same thing, just with the Shaded Spruce. It's the only bad thing about using I have all these paper pumpkin blocks that I got for a workshop. And now they're just not thick enough. I like the ones that are thick. So, but I have other stamps on them for other projects right now. So, one. Here, let's go. I don't know if I did it every other one. I think I might have done just a couple of this one, 2, 3, and we'll do one more, 4. Okay, so like that. And then clean this off. Set that aside. And then I did the little flowers in the Poppy Parade. So, and you kind of get the idea why I use this ring. It kind of helps make sure that I'm going in a circle. So, and then I just kind of like put these in the white space that was left. So I'll do some over here. Do some and down here. Like that. I'm actually going to do one more over here. So there's lots of pretty color going on there. Clean that off. Set that aside. Close this up. Okay, so once you kind of have a ring going on, then I can put this back. So that is just like what I did to make sure that it was where I wanted it to be. And then, so when you put this on, it's going to have like this really beautiful little background, right? So cute. All right. So before I attach that though, I also am going to add in, or I'm going to shut this before I get it all over my fingers. Set that aside. And then I'm going to add in these little pieces. So I just used a little bit of glue. And what I did, I actually think that I did attach this first. And the way I attached it is I just put glue in the middle so that I could stick in the green branches afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach this to this. And they match up, so it should match right up in all the grooves. And then I'm going to, again, just do a little bit of glue in the middle. And that'll stick well. And I'm going to just kind of move it until it looks like what I want it to look like. Like maybe I want to do it like that this time. So once that's down, now I can start to add in these little bits of soft sea foam. So, and I just, my glue's exploding. That's great. Okay. We're just going to have, you know, all kinds of things go, go goofy today. All right. So, and then I just kind of like placed it down in there. Tried not to cover up too many of my pretty flowers. And actually, I think this one I'm gonna leave off. This bigger one. And I'm just gonna use this small one. I don't know, I might come back and use that again. But I glued it down just on that tip so I could easily pull it off. But I'm gonna use this smaller one here. And see if I can't fix my glue. That's what happens if you squeeze your glue too hard. Just be patient. The glue will come. Lesson I've learned. Okay. Try that again. So a little bit does a lot here. Okay, so just like that. And now let's try this again. All right, that's a little bit better. I feel like the other one, it was like covering up my stuff too much. I didn't like that. And then let's see. Yeesh. Come here. There we go. Let's do this one on the other side. I kind of am, I don't know, I just tend to be more asymmetrical. It's like asymmetrical as far as like flowers go, but then like I want to make it balanced. Balanced is a better word. Not symmetrical. And then I use this little guy. So, and I'm kind of pairing them up with the other greenery. So it looks kind of like maybe it would go with that. But I don't know. I think it looks pretty either way. Doesn't really matter. Where you put these, just kind of stick them in until they make you happy. And I got glue on all my fingers. That's okay though. Last one here. All right. And stick that last little piece in, push down, and voila, that part is done. Now I'm going to save these for later, for another project, for something else. And just set those aside. And then the next part that I'm going to do is I'm going to take there was a little white piece. Oh, maybe I didn't. Did I not put it back in here? Okay. So I think I might have accidentally, I think I put it in the wrong folder. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm a mess. Okay, let me see. It's not that. I know I cut a piece. Oh well, we're gonna cut another piece, or maybe this is the piece. So this piece is, sorry, this is gonna go with this one too, to do the sentiment. So I need, it is 1.5 by 2.5. So 1.5 by 2.5. And then I actually used the mini pocket envelope dies. And then inside the mini pocket envelope dies, I used this little rigid guy here. So if you're wondering what shape I use, it doesn't matter which one you use, but any kind of shape like this, or if you want to pick your sentiment first and then pick the shape, but this is the one that I used. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to die cut this out with my embossing machine. And, okay. So that's what that looks like. So obviously if you don't have this set, you can use what you have. But I thought that that one was cute and it worked in the space that I had. And then you can use any sentiment you want. I used Thinking of You, which kind of can go for anything. You can send it to anybody for any reason. And I stamped this in the Night of Navy. When I leave things open, I just make a mess. So I try to close things as I use them. All right, so I'm going to do Thinking of You in this beautiful Night of Navy. Perfect. And I'm going to clean that off. Put that away. Actually, oh boy. Thinking of You. All right, so let me go ahead and close this. And then the last step is, okay, so I used some baker's twine. And then I just cut, you know, pretty nice long piece. So like this is 40 centimeters. I'm just going off this measurement here because it's easy here. 40 centimeters. And use my snips. And then what I did was I cut it in half again. So at 20 centimeters. And then I made a little bow. So, and there's a couple of ways you can do this. So this is the easiest way, if you ask me, okay? Turn this over. Put a little bit of the Stampin' Seal. We're gonna do where you put it, where you attach it right down in the middle. So make sure there's even on both sides. We're gonna just like put it right down in the middle, like that. Oh, well, maybe not like that, but okay. So I like to leave space on the ends for my dimensionals. So I'm gonna put this in the middle here, kind of, and then do a faux bow behind. So come this way. Might be even, we could do better than that, right? So one little loop that way, one little loop that way, faux bow. And I can see how, of course, it's not gonna look like what I wanted to, because, okay, try again. Try again, right? Okay, so let's try again. 1, and 2, or you can do like where it will come out this way, like that. Okay, so I got my faux bow. See? Oh, and I actually even put it on the opposite side. You can trim these up, right? So, but that's kind of the idea. And then I'm just going to use a couple of dimensionals to get that on there. And I'm actually going to put one more. I probably could have got away with 2, but I'm going to use that one to kind of hold those into place. And then I'm just going to take these other sides of these dimensionals off and want to add this right to the middle here and kind of off to one side if you like. So, and then like trim these up a little bit like that. All right. And then I just kind of like spread it out until it makes me happy, like however I like it. So I don't really like the way that's looking, so I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. So it's ending up being a little shorter than I would have liked, but it was just kind of like rounded. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. There we go. So it looks just like that. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to attach it to the front here. And it's easier if you use glue, obviously, because then you can kind of wiggle and slide it around until it's where you want it to be. But I went with Stampin' Seal today, just because sometimes glue takes me a little bit of time too, but there we go. So that is card number 1, and that's done. And again, you can add more to the middle if you want to. All right, let's move on to card number 2. And I will come back for that one in a second. So card number 2 again is this one. And it features the Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. And that is from the new mini catalog. And I just organized my projects in these stamp cases. So these are the measurements that you need for this one if you would like to stamp along with me and make a project with me. So this one has a lot of little pieces, but you'll see once we start building it, it goes together pretty quickly. Okay, so Smoky Slate. This one is 2.5 by 2.5, and then you use a stylish shape die to cut that pattern. I couldn't find that other piece of paper that I had that was this color to cut from it, so we're just gonna have to go with what we have, right? And then, okay. So these are all of the measurements. Here, let me fix that. And then we can get started on this card. Okay. All right, so again, just like the other one, we're gonna use that 5 1/4 basic white as the insert. So we're gonna put this on the inside of this Calypso coral paper. That's 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. So again, I told you I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus today. I'm just going to put that right on the inside. So that that part is done. Then I'm going to start layering. So this 5 1/4 by 4 Balmy Blue, which is this color. And I'm going to layer on top the Dainty Designs 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 Designer Series paper. So I'm just going to add some seal, put this on here, and there just should be a little tiny hint of blue behind the Balmy Blue, just like that. Then I'm going to add this one to my card front like this. All right, so that's the easy part. Now I'm going to start building these. So with the 2x4, I'm going to use these Scalloped Contours dies. So that's these Scallop Contours dies. And I'm going to use this right here, this scalloped edge. And I'm going to cut into this, like, right at the bottom. So right there probably. Okay, so with my die cutting machine, my embossing machine, just gonna put it right at the bottom. And then it's gonna make this really nice little scalloped edge for me, and this is gonna go across right like that. Does not have to be perfect. If you're not happy though with the way that it looks, you can always do a little bit more cutting. So for me, it doesn't bother me that it's a little crooked. I like it kind of crooked sometimes because it's a handmade card, so I don't want it to be too perfect. And then on this piece here, I stamped the ring. So with Ring with Nature, it's this one right here is the one that I stamped it with. And I believe I used Crumb Cake. That's the only Stampin' Up color that I did not grab ahead of time. Let's see if I can reach it. And this actually might be the color that I used, and that's probably why I couldn't find it. For the square on top. Oh my god, I'm so silly. I was looking for a smoky slate color, but I think it was Crumb Cake, and that was my problem. So, okay, so I'm just going to get that really nice and inky, and I'm going to do like a nice little ring kind of to the side, like that. I think that's the color that I used. See, this is what happens if I do it too soon. If I do it too early and then I don't do the tutorial until the end of the month. I forget what I did, but that's okay. All right, so that's Crumb Cake. And I'm actually pretty sure that the piece that I got for the top is also Crumb Cake. I think. We'll see. It said Smoky Slate, but I think it's Crumb Cake. I think Smoky Slate's a little bit more gray. So let's just change that. So I'm sorry if you already cut that. Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake instead of Smoky Slate. So that's the 2.5 by 2 1/2 piece. Crumb Cake. And so this one's gonna get, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down on the card. And you can put it like top, bottom, wherever you like. I kind of put mine a little bit more towards the bottom since I'm going to be working on the top. And this piece is 4, so it should match right up with that blue cardstock, the Balmy Blue. So I did it a little bit lower than how I did it on my original, but that's okay. Okay. Now the next part that I want to do is I'm going to take this piece here. So this is a Balmy Blue piece. That's 1.5 by 3 1/4. And then you're going to flag the end. So you just snip the middle So you would snip the middle and then snip to meet it in order to get that flag. And I'm going to go ahead and get this one down. And this one kind of overlaps this like this. And then putting that down right there. And now this piece is already cut. And then this piece, 3 1/2 by 2 of basic white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my house right at the top. So, and I used, I believe I used Mossy Meadow, Balmy Blue, and Petal Pink. And I think I even used the Old Olive. So these are the colors that I used, the Stampin' Up! Colors. Okay, so I'm going to do the house first, and I'm going to do the house in Mossy Meadow. And I actually think I might even cut it first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this using my stylish shaped dies. So these are, oops, sorry, bring my camera again. Stylish shaped dies. And then I'm going to use this, I think it's this one right here. Nope, it's the next one up. So this one, so it's the third from the biggest. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that with my pressing machine. Alright, so sometimes to hold it into place I use a little piece of washi tape, but then there's still a little bit of extra and you're going to use that, so don't throw that away or put that away. But you can put your die away, right? Let's put that away. Alright, and so now I'm going to go ahead and stamp this house. I'm going to stamp it right on here. And I'm going to give myself space for the roof too. So we're going to get that nice and inky. And you can use a foam mat if you want to underneath. I actually might. Just to make sure that I get that really good print. All right. And I hear my son, he woke up from his nap, so I might go get him here in a minute. Hopefully I can be quick about it. Okay, so that's the house. And actually, now that I'm looking at the other one that I did, this might have been Old Olive as well. I don't know, it looked darker than Old Olive. All right, so I'm actually gonna set that aside. Grab the Balmy Blue to do the roof. So get lots of ink on that. So I just do light tapping on that. And then photopolymer is great because you can line it up. It should line up perfectly. Press that down. And that looks okay. And a little bit darker than my first one, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to set that aside and set that aside. Then I'm going to attach these two together. So I'm just going to use a little Stampin' Seal to attach that. Like that. And then I popped this one up on dimensionals before attaching it to the card. So, like that. And I'm actually going to put one in the middle too. So sometimes I'm really skimpy with my dimensionals. It just depends on how many I have. So, and how like much I'm using them. So I just got new ones, so I can use a little bit more. But you could do the same trick with, you know, a couple of them. You don't have to have as many as I did. So then I just kind of move this around until it looks good to me. And then I can push that down just like that. And then, okay, so remember I told you to save this piece here. So on this piece is where I did the little flower. So what I did was I did the bottom, and I thought this color was the old olive. So tap, 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 boop, like that, and set that aside. And then I use these flowers again. So I used these on the last project as well. So these little flowers here, which are on here, these flowers right here, these 3 flowers, and this is the stem that I just used. So, and then I'm gonna use the petal pink. And tap, tap, tap. And then these line up perfectly with the center. So as long as you can look through the stamp, you can line up those centers and push that down. And even pressure all the way around, and then that's what it looks like. Perfect. So after you clean that, you can set that aside. And then I fussy cut this out. So I use my scissors and I go around it. All right, and you can get as detailed as you want as far as how close to the flower petals that you want to get. On the first one that I did, I went pretty close and I took my time and I got around, but for the sake of saving time, especially since my little man just woke up, I can show you that you will still get the same, you know, kind of idea, even if you don't fussy cut out the whole thing perfectly. Just kind of scoop in, get as much of the white out as I can, like that. And then these scraps can be tossed. And then this piece is going to go right here, but I'm going to do the sentiment first. So I used, what I did was on the first one, when I was cutting out these little squares, I just took a piece that looked like it would fit and I used that edge. So the edging is on both sides there of that square, and then I cut it out so that I could use it for the sentiment. But since this one is bigger than the one that I used, and I kind of don't want to cover up my card so much, I think I'm going to use a different piece. So this piece, 2 3/4 by 1 1/2. I actually might even, this one might be the one that I lost from the other one. That I was like, where the heck did that piece go? I know I cut it. I think that might have been it. So I'm going to use this one. It's 2 by 1, basic white. I'm going to stamp it first. So I'm going to use my Get Well Soon. So that was also from this one, Get Well Soon. And I'm going to use this soft petal pink. And I'm going to stamp it right in the middle like that. And then I'm going to, let's see. This is on the fly. I'm going to see if this will fit here. So Maybe I can even use this one here. I think the other one's too small. So, and do like this, so it'll have design on top and bottom, but it won't get the edges. I don't really need the edges, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that and see what that looks like. I can always do it again if I don't like it, right? Run that through. Remember to be more organized next time, right? That's all you can do. Just have fun with it and try not to steer people in the wrong direction. Clean this off with my Simply Chamois. And then I have my beautiful little sentiment, and that totally worked for making this little spot. So I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this up. So I already have dimensionals on one side, so I'm going to just do 2 dimensionals on the other, on the opposite side, like so. On the Get Well side, I'm going to do one kind of close to the edge, and then I'm going to kind of put it down, see where I want it. I might want it right like that. I might just use one. Oh wait, I did it like that. Okay, so I will use a second one. I'm just gonna put it right beside the other one like that. And then before I attach it, after I take off the stickers here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue to my flower here. Just a tiny little bit to the end, like that. And I'm going to stick it right in between these 2 dimensionals, right there. So, stick that down. Hold it for a second just so that it sticks. And then now I'm ready to attach my sentiment here. Maybe I'll move it. All right, I thought that was a good idea. Now I'm changing my mind in hindsight, right? It's okay. It's okay to change your mind. I just thought I was going to need that space. All right, let me try that again. Let me attach first. I thought it would be easier to do it the other way, but obviously I didn't do it right. And like that. I didn't want it to cover the door, so I'm kind of like looking at the door and then attaching the other side so that it doesn't touch the door. And now I'm going to attach the flowers again, and we're going to try this again. And we're going to put it, I kind of liked it where it was like overlapping, maybe even on this piece, like that. Just like that. You can use a glue dot to hold that down if that bothers you, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty. So get well soon. Stay inside and rest. Brought in that cute little house. And that's the second card, and that is done. And that was the alarm that was like, hey, it's almost time to go get your son from school. So I am going to do my best to get through this third card. I'm going to go pretty quick so I can get it all done, and we'll go from there. Then I can run and go grab my son from school. So, all right, here is the third card. We got another 5 1/4. I even have an envelope in this one. 3 1/2 by 2 1/2 Mango Melody cardstock, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I also used these gold facet adhesive back sequins. I used another piece 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then the pieces are the designer series paper and a piece of white, 3 by 3. So you can write down all the measurements here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss this 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 with the Ringed with Nature embossing folder. So that's this one. So it looks like that. And we're going to go ahead and attach this 5 1/4 by 4. This is the insert. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside and use this. And you can definitely stamp the insert if you want to. Then I use the Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm using that a lot today. Usually I use my glue. But I just got an order. It had my Stampin' Seal, so I can use it now. I always use it until it's gone, and then I move to the glue. And then I wait for my next package. So there we go. Just like that. Then I'm going to attach this piece here. So this one, just show you. Seal. And then I just kind of like catty cornered it like that. Like that. And then on these other pieces here, what I did, so this is one of the, this is 3 by 3 basic white, and what I did, let me show you. I used the Mango Melody to pull that in, and I used a blending brush. So blending brush, start off your paper with the blending brush and then bring it onto your paper once it's even. I just kind of like did a little shading here at the top, and then I used a little bit of Old Olive. Same thing at the bottom. So we're gonna just get a little bit of Old Olive, start it until it gets nice and even, and then bring it up on to this 3 by 3 square, just like that. Kind of leave a little bit of white in the middle. And then I'm actually going to use that again because I'm going to pull this little mushroom here, little mushroom house, and grab this Old Olive. It's a very beautiful color. And on the green side, so the bottom is the green side, I kind of just did it right there on the bottom, push down. So it's nice and even. Clean off your stamp there. Clean off that. Put that back, and then I'm going to grab, I used Gnome Sweet Gnome on the first one, which I thought was really cute. But I was thinking I might use one of the other ones. Nope, I'm going to use Gnome Sweet Gnome. I already have it ready to go. So we're going to use that one, Gnome Sweet Gnome, which makes sense because this is his little mushroom home, right? His little mushroom home, Gnome Sweet Gnome. There we go. So that's good. Then I used Calypso Coral, and I added a little bird. So let's add the little cute little bird. And I love these photopolymer. It makes it so easy to put them right, boom, on top of the house like that. And clean that off. So even though I'm in a rush, because I gotta go get my kid, I gotta go get both my kids, I still clean off my stamps because nothing worse than stamps that are not clean and ready to go. So now I'm already ready for this one to go on here. So I am just going to grab my Stampin' Seal again. I love this stuff. It's so easy. It makes it go by so fast. I'm much more careful with glue. And then I just added this one to the side like that. All right, so now the last part, we got to get that gnome on there. So a 3.5 by 2.5 basic white. And so I just set these over here so that I remember them for next time, right? And we're going to go ahead and get our gnome that we want here. And I used Memento black ink for him so that I could color him in. Look at my little dimensionals are just everywhere. So tapping and pushing at the same time, and just gonna push him right down here in the middle. And we're going to color him in. So cleaning my stamp, put my stamp away. Okay. And then I used the light soft suede for his gloves and boots. And I'm gonna die cut him. So I'm not terribly worried about staying in the lines. So like I was telling me that it is time. I have 10 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna color him in. We're gonna die cut him out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I really have to go now. I don't want to be late to get my son. Because I can finish coloring him after I get my son. But just so that you know what to do, we're going to die cut him. Man, I thought I had more time this morning. I really did. I was not as concerned about time as I should have been, I guess. So there's that little guy. Put these away. So, and then once you color them all in, so, I mean, I just used a lot of the greens and stuff like that because I think that's cute. I used dimensionals and I popped him up on some dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, like that. I attached him on. Okay, and we're gonna come back and color him after I get my son. But I kind of put him like right there in between both. Added a couple of these sequins, the gold facet adhesive back sequins. I just added a couple of these. So I was gonna grab some of these with my take your pick tool. So, and what I did was I just added like one big one here, and I added 2 little ones beside it, like that. And then that card is pretty much done. So you just have to finish coloring him in and you're good to go on this one. So that's this one. So that's what it looks like when it's colored. This one and this one. And I really hope that you liked my tutorial today. I am so sorry that I had to rush there at the end, but you get the idea. A couple of cute ones with the Ring of Nature to bring that back in. A couple of cute little gnomes to tie in the new mini catalog and some new designer series papers. If you like that, like and subscribe for more videos from me. And if you're a mom and you understand that I gotta run, you understand. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time.